For this episode, I guess I don't know exactly what to talk about. I had some things on my mind. I guess I do have one specific one on my mind, but I just don't know where to start exactly. But it's about the Blair Witch, which if you somehow don't know about the Blair Witch series, it's like, at least to me, it's one of the most historical horror movies. It's the Blair Witch Project, that is. So the Blair Witch Project that came out in 1999, and so if you don't know, that was a found footage movie, which what just really sparked off a whole bunch of really good found footage movies in the future, and it's just super well done. But the historical thing about it, the most historical things about it, is that it was it was super low budget and came out to be super successful. So like in ratio, it's one of the most successful films like ever, and it was promoted as if it was a real thing because they said the found footage was real, and which scared the crap out of people. And then the third thing was that they never once showed the Blair Witch in the entire movie, so leaving you to only picture it and question, and just like it just really gives you a different type of fear. It just makes you sick in your stomach. No jump scares the entire film, and it's just so terrifying. But I'm sure you basically already know about the Blair Witch. A lot of people know about it, but if you don't, just stop watching this because it's 1,000 times better if you don't know. Just avoid spoilers. Watch it yourself. It's amazing. But so basically, I'm making this assuming that you know about the Blair Witch. So even if you don't care about spoilers, it's kind of pointless to watch this because I'm assuming you know about certain things about the movie. So ever since we watched the Blair Witch Project for the first time, I think a little bit before Halloween, I've been just so into the whole series in general, and some of the movies after it, just were terrible, and then there's video games, but a lot of it is just so interesting. The whole lore and secrets behind it is just so interesting to me, and I've been looking into it like crazy. And so what I wanted to talk about was a somewhat theory I have about the Blair Witch, which again, this is assuming you know about the Blair Witch and have seen the movie, because I want to try and make this a short video. It's already hit 3 minutes. I'm trying to make it kind of short, so I'm not going to explain too much. I'm just going to assume you know. So basically, I guess this is one thing you might not know. They don't mention in the movie, but there's this backstory of the Blair Witch about this woman named Ellie Kedward. And so when people first started settling in the Americas, and well, not first, but we're I think it was it might have been around the 1800s. But basically, these settlers came in, and among them was this woman named Ellie Kedward, who eventually was accused of being a witch, and she may or may have not had done bad things. It's just that she was accused of that, and then they killed her by tying her to a tree and just leaving her there to die. And it was in the middle of winter, by the way, one of the worst ones apparently. And so she did die, but I think at some point they came back and just couldn't find her body anywhere. And then at some point the town, all the people that accused her just suddenly just kind of died or disappeared or something, and just tragic, crazy things just started happening in the town of Blair, which it was called at the time, and people eventually had to leave. And then after 50 years or so, people started resettling there, and it was renamed to Burkittsville. But basically, that's kind of the summary of the backstory. So supposedly, Ellie Kedward is the Blair Witch. That's the whole. I guess you could say that's a theory, because it's not nobody ever said that she actually is the Blair Witch, but that's kind of assumably the backstory. It's kind of obvious, so my theory is that the reason I said it's somewhat of a theory is because it's kind of complicated, but basically, so what started was just I just had it as an idea, just what if, and then something not proved it, but gave a bit of more evidence later on. not more, the first evidence. So there was this series of 3 video games, Blair Witch video games, that actually came out in like 2000. First one was called, I'm not going to go through the names. I need to save time. It's still 5 minutes. Like, that's crazy. But 3 games. And I'm still watching through the playthroughs of them. Some of them are kind of bad, but still, it's adds to the lore, very interesting. But I'm about halfway done watching a playthrough of the first game. And there's this one part where the main character you play is this woman named Elspeth Holiday. She's in the forest, and she comes across this Indian who has his own like cabin there and stuff, and he tells her that he believes in the Blair Witch, and he tells her basically everything he knows about her, and including how to like ward her off and keep her away. And so he just like knows in and out of it, and basically he said something that let me just get this notification that even before people had settled into the town of Blair, they're like the natives there, like they're in the history, they knew that there was already something evil in the forest before the people even settled there, and among those people was Ellie Kedward. So it's just, and it was just kind of a short thing that they like skimmed over, but it really adds to my theory, which is that my idea is that the Blair Witch either has nothing or little to do with Ellie Kedward, and because like something's there before, and what's interesting is like it could just be some evil thing in the forest that has nothing to do with Ellie Kedward, or very little. And I imagine like maybe once Ellie Kedward came there, she like that thing in the forest kind of used her as like a host to help it do its evil things, and or something like that. And it could really be anything, but what's interesting is like the Indian talks about how he says he tells her his name, but then he says that that's actually not his real name, because telling somebody's name gives you a lot of information about that person. And he says like, because I know your name, I know a lot about you. I know basically everything about you now. And he does predict some stuff about her, and that's interesting. But then it leads me to think like and of course when I say we, I'm talking about as if it's like non-fictional, like we gave the Blair Witch her name. It's like, where did that name come from? It's like, so in the history, some guy writing a journal in like 1940, 50 or something gave her that name. He came up with a name. And so it's like she didn't, like, where did that name come from? It's just something evil in the forest, little things happening here and there, little scary things. And then suddenly we call her the Blair Witch because of some history with Ellie Kedward in the town of Blair, supposedly being a witch. And it's like, you just kind of connect it together. But I just, there's something different going on. Just something different that's just something evil in the forest that has nothing or little to do with Ellie Kedward. And that's just a theory of mine. I'm actually kind of writing something about it, like a fictional thing, like that I might share in a bit when I'm done. But it's just so interesting. I just love the series so much. But I'm gonna keep watching playthroughs of the video games, and I'm probably gonna get the Blair Witch video game. There's a new one that came out in like 2018 or so that has a VR version, so I might play that. Might post some playthroughs. Me getting terrified of that game because it looks terrifying, but I'll probably add some more. It'll probably add some more to the lore and my theory once I play through that, because I'm really trying to avoid spoilers. But that's my theory. This is almost at 10 minutes, and I'm probably over my break being done. But yeah, that's pretty much it. See you in the next episode. Bye.